Hi Flosstube and Instagram friends. Welcome back to my channel, Contented Needleworker Kim. Today is February 24, 2025, and this is Flosstube episode number 85. I've had a few false starts already trying to begin this video, and in general, it actually has been very difficult for me to even think about making this video. Right after we were together the last time, I went to Sampler Symposium in Mesa, Arizona. And I had an absolutely fantastic time. I know there've been a lot of recaps already, giving lots of detail about the wonderful designers, the charts, the people. It was a wonderful experience. It was right after I got home, I would have made my recap video. And unfortunately, shortly after that, we all got the news that our friend Jean Lee passed away. One of the things I thought about when I was deciding about making this video was the thought came to me about the passion that Jean had for stitching, for samplers, for 56 count, for people. And that's why we're here, right? To share our love for this craft. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for letting me share all of that I've been up to, all of the stitching that I've done since we were last together, my finishes, new starts. Let's go forward. So I have had a lot of finishes. I actually have some fully finishes. Let's start with a couple fully finishes. This is an older chart, and I know it's my friend Krista purchased this for me on the secondary market. So let me show you what I have done. This was a mystery fabric that I stitched it on. It's going to be 40, maybe 36. I'm pretty sure it's 40. And I don't do a lot of kits. I don't even know if I've done a kit before. So like a Mill Hill or any of those things where you get the flosses all in a bundle and you have to separate them out. That was very challenging for me. A lot of these colors are very similar. And it got to the point where I think they wanted me to use 3 different greens, light, medium, dark. It's more complicated than that, but they wanted me to pick out 3 different greens for the flowers and the vines. And there was a point where I just went rogue and said, just picking a green. There was some oopsies in the bird. Again, I picked the wrong color. I made some changes, but I think my finish, oh, it's a little bit wrinkly here, I can see. I think my finish is cute. I made it just into a little pin disc. I was going to make it into like a needlebook, but I couldn't find a ribbon that matched the fabric on the back. And so I just decided to stop here. I have ordered some pins, and I will show you my inspiration for doing this in a moment, but I have ordered some pins to maybe go around and then a ribbon on the top, like this other finish that I want to share with you. Now, this is going to be an upcoming, this is a small portion of a chart that is a new release for market from Fox and Rabbit. I think it's Fanny Collins. And when I went to a retreat, this was the little extra that Karen had put all the things together that you needed. Everything came in the little kit that she provided for us. And so this was very easy for me to put together. She'd also given us a demonstration at the actual retreat. So this was much easier for me to put together because I had everything I needed. So the pins are just stuck in, the little rickrack is glued on, the pins are stuck in. And so I thought, well, this is a good inspiration if I can get some pins and a ribbon. I'll have 2 of these really cute little finishes. So again, this is going to be an upcoming market release, the entire chart. And I have more information about that chart for another birthday Sal stitch along. When we get to that, I'll share that with you. So let me show you also my Trumpet of Swans Biscornu. I showed you this before when it mostly looked like this, but I took some time to fully stitch a little bit better along the edges. I didn't do the linen on the bottom. I used just fabric, which made it much more tricky. I would not suggest that. Just stitch the bottom on the linen or the Aida so that you can combine it much easier. Now, this finish was super special because it's another memory for me now of stitching with friends. My stitching is full of all of these wonderful memories of my friends. So I had a Biscornu Zoom finish with the Saturday Stitchers and April _heirlooms on Instagram our fearless leader, she took a lot of time to put together. She's finished some beautiful biscornus, and she took the time to put together a PDF download for us and sent it to us ahead of time, so that if several of us had not made biscornus before, and they were able to look that over and really get good instructions. And so on the Zoom, April really talked a lot of us through how to make our first biscornu. This was not my first, but you will see if you go to her post on Instagram. I think she shares everybody. We've got Celeste. There's a handful of us, Merritt, that we all did biscornus together, and that was wonderful. So I had a great time, ladies. Thank you we stitched it all together. We're going to stitch a biscornu together. We started about a year ago, and then we got together when we all finished and put it together. Let's see what else. I also did, so these are just a handful of finishes that I'm sharing with you, that I made into pillows, or yeah, mostly pillows since we were last together. So this is the Christmas swan. And of course I still have to I don't know if I'm going to do, I was looking for some wool felt in pink to put on the back of a couple of these, and I couldn't find the color I wanted. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I may end up just taking a scrap of lace and putting that on the back. But I took a day where I didn't stitch, and I just made a bunch of pillows. This is an old finish that I've had stitched for a long time, Token of Love by Pineberry Lane. And I actually just decided to make this into a pillow, and I took it off of the prior finish and made this into a pillow. And this is my blessing sampler for this year. So Heart in Hand 2023 Collector's Heart stitched on. We talked all about this the last time I did have it now fully finished, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this. You know what else I got to do when I went to Sampler Symposium? I hooked up with Diane, the Woodpecker's daughter, Aimee, Mrs. Flossie, and Nanette, who is, is it Hilo X Stitch, Nanette? I think it's Hilo X and then Stitch. And we all got together and made a video together on Aimee, Mrs. Flossie's channel. So I hope that, I'll link it below. I hope that you've already gone over there and visited us there. That was a lot of fun. But I believe I showed my finish on that one. That's what I was probably thinking of. Can't remember what all I've shared with you since the last video, to be honest. My whip parade, that was my big whip parade. Okay, I'm already feel like I'm talking fast. I'm gonna take a deep breath. This is a Plum Street Samplers. I stitched this with my friend Jamie. Oh, and Renee. Renee stitched this too, Prairie Stitcher 515. And I made that into my little pillow. This fun purpley pink fabric on the back. This is actually, I wanted to share this with you. I think I may have shared it before, but Nanette made this. Isn't this adorable? So it's in my little dough bowl with all of my pink stitches for Valentine's Day. I think this is really, really sweet. She just did these curves. I will show you a finish here in a moment and why I really appreciate the talent that goes into making those curves so perfectly. This is a Annie, the Proper Stitcher. And of course, I just have to still stuff this. I didn't get that far yet. All right, so let me show you. This did not come out. This was not a great finish. I'm going to show you the chart first because the idea is so cute, and I just could not execute it as well as I had hoped to. Tomato Girl by Sub Rosa Designs, inspired by on Instagram, inspired by Michelle Ray. And she made a color conversion from the original to these adorable colors, more pinks and the bright red. And that was the first thing that I loved. And she also made her finish, was a little more, her shape was like she went up, across the bottom and up, but then she did around the tomato and then like around here. So it looks like a little animal cracker stand-up type of a finish. And it was so, so cute. And I really tried. I put the interfacing, I drew the line around, I tried to sew it very carefully and follow the curves. And she just came out, when I turned her inside out, she was wonky. So this was the best I could do with the fabric I had left after I'd clipped all my seams and trimmed it close. So I stuck the pin and the piece of, just a tattered piece of fabric on the top to kind of hide the pointy curves. She's not horrible. She's just not as cute as Michelle's finish originally. When you go see her Instagram, you'll know what I mean. All right, so those are all of my pillow finishes in my dough bowl. Let me put them all back in and set this on the ground so that we can continue on. All right, so I actually really do have a lot to share with you in the way of, looks like I have a couple more finishes here to go through next. So let's do that. Right behind me, it's going to be a little bit tricky for me to read. Oh, let me do the one in the front. So Couleur to 12, forgive me again, as always, I never know how to really pronounce that. This beautiful chart. I started this with my friend Brook, Stitch by the Brook, as her birthday start, which was the beginning of this month. And I don't know how I managed to just keep going for, obviously I only stitched a portion of it, but I just kept going. And I have this really cute little finish. This is a plastic frame that I have painted with probably some of that decor wax, that folk art decor wax that I share with you all the time. I do want to do another coat of, I want to do some bry wax. So it'll darken it up a little bit. And the reason I'm not getting it yet is because it's not secure. So I want you to see it nice and cute right now. But I have yet to figure out how to attach. I didn't cut the fabric off yet because I wanted to make absolutely sure that I didn't want to stitch any more of the design. Once you cut the fabric off, you know, you can't go back. And this is a mystery. I don't know what this is in the way of linen. It's probably, I think it's a 40 count, just tan linen. But I have a hard time with these plastic frames because it's going to be difficult for me to figure out how to get the backing in there and so it doesn't fall out. But let me show this to you up close because I think this is going to be, I will call this a finish. I'm going to cut the fabric and put it on some foam core and then figure out how to get it to stay in there. I did make a couple of changes to the colors. Now this is charted. Let me see here. This is charted. I know she has the DMC conversion. And it's also, I want to see if it was a Verissois. Oh, I can't find it easily here. But I use the DMCs. And the only things that I changed, I didn't have a couple of the DMCs that she called for. And one of them was this peachy color where you see this bright green. There's like a row of bright green in the tail and the feather. And that was because I just tried a brighter orange and I didn't like the brighter orange. And so when I was thinking, I took the green, which is something you see in some of the other areas here. And oh, that might work. And I'm super happy taking out the orange and replacing it with the green. I also put that green in a little bit of the flower here. I think everything else was the called for DMs. Oh, no, I used picnic basket for some of the branch. And again, I just didn't have the DMC and I probably went on 1, 2, 3 stitch and did that thread conversion, floss conversion, and found one that I just did have in my stash. And I believe those are all the changes that I made. So this is just absolutely adorable. I really, really love it. And I'm excited to be able to add this to my bird collection. I did pull down a couple of other of my Couleur to Toile. Let's see, this is why I was afraid to take it off. I did pull down a couple of other charts from her that I have stitched. And that would be, you can see behind me, Clemence Genou, which is a beautiful chart. It's also a lot larger than that. And I only stitched the center portion. And something I did stitch almost exactly the way it's charted is the Hortense de Frocourt, which you can see way over there. I believe I made minor changes, so minor that I don't even remember what they are. So those, I think, are the only 2 I have stitched by her yet, but I have so many more and charts by her that I love and really look forward to stitching in the future. Okay, so let's see who's next. I had a finish on GGR MT 1810. And I decided, originally I was going to stitch the whole bottom row of birds, but I really decided this was the bird I liked the best, and I stopped there. There are some other motifs on here that are really hard to see on this photograph, but when I saw the finish on Instagram by Nikki Noodle, I blew it up, and I think that will make it easier for me to decide what other motifs from this chart that I still want to stitch, because there are some other really pretty motifs on the chart. So I did my circle plate frame finish of just the bird stitched with the called for DMC threads. If not, they were comparable, but I remember just using the called for DMC threads. And I'm sorry that I don't remember the linen on this either, but it's just a light tan. I'm really happy with how this came out. It's held in there just on the foam core, and these came with the plate frame, so they hold the foam core in there pretty well. But I'm pretty sure this is exactly how this will finish up. Looks like I still need to give it another iron. Okay, so can you see that back there a little bit? What is next? I think before we go to this fabulous finish here, let me show you my Eleanor, actually it's called Starry Night Sampler by the City Stitcher. And I just Googled Starry Night Sampler and it came up at a place called Quilter's Warehouse, I'm pretty sure. It's not an expensive chart. That's how I got this one. This is Light Mocha by Zweigart, and I overdyed it with some RIT, probably camel and taupe. And it really came out well at making the white pop. Called for DMC colors. Obviously made some changes. I brought the leaves down a little bit. I shortened all of that a little bit, and then obviously biggest change was adding scripture. Did some of the satin stitches in the trees on either side of the house and on the bottom in the grass. I didn't do them on the other two trees. So I just have to make a frame. I have to cut down a frame to fit this so I can put that on my wall. Okay, so then I don't have the booklet for this one, but a lot of you will recognize it. This is Keeper of the Pins by Brenda Gervais. And it is originally shown as a lot of little pillows. You have several little pillows. I think there's even one more. And I was inspired to stitch this all together in this layout by Cathy Lounsbury, who is So-and-So's. And she just came back with another video, but she shared this on a video if you go back a little bit. I know she shared her finish, and her husband made her this really cute little cabinet with shelves, and she put some really cute things on it, and a little sewing bird, you know, an antique sewing bird that looks like this one, the little clamp. So cute. And so I took inspiration from both the box as well as her stitching it all as one. And that is why I did mine this way. So I'm going to pull it off, whether I can get it back in or not. The box needs a little more work. It had doors. And while I could get off several of the hinges, there were the last couple of hinges that the screws just didn't want to come off. I really had to just yank them off. And so the wood needs some putty and a little bit of fixing there. But it fits. This fits in there perfectly. I'm really happy with the finish. This is just a thrifted cabinet that I got from, like I said, a thrift store. But here's my finish. I think this is a legacy linen. It might be like a 38 count. And I made the color conversions to pinks because these are charted in blues. I should have brought those for, you know what? They might be in my book of days. Let me see if I wrote them down in my book of days. I don't always keep track of my color conversions. I'm so sad to say. Let me see. When did I start sewing bird? Was it last month? Keeper of the Pins. Looks like I didn't keep a track of it, but I probably know. You know what? It's on my Instagram. It will be on my Instagram. Okay, so let me focus. So I stitched this along with Stacey Bluebird paper and thread on Flosstube, as well as Kissa Creations. And they had mentioned that they were going to do a sale, and I said, oh, I have that. Can I join you, please? So what is the name of that hashtag on Instagram? Hashtag, nope, can't remember. I'm sorry. I'll try to put it below if I remember. But I changed the colors a little bit. I also added these little tiny, these are those little short pins that have this really pretty pearl head on the top. I had stitched the lines that they called for as little needles, but I really didn't love, they just kind of looked pokey and I wasn't thrilled with them. So I went back when I was all done and I just shoved these into the foam core, those little pins. So I really like that. Oh, it looks like I didn't do any up on this one. I might add a couple more up there. There was also the directions called to stitch the Mountain Mist, which is like a light and a dark. And she had you do the light for the bird and then 2 strands, like fussy cut the floss and do 2 strands of the dark for the wing portion. With me just changing colors, I just picked a different red. One of them I think is Bluecoat red and the other might have been Aztec red. No, I'll have to look it up and put it below. But isn't that cute? I think I added an extra spool. I think this one I added was extra. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. And then I was going, because I normally pin, I was going to lace it and I thought, oh, I'm just going to do that acid-free double-sided tape because this will go and you won't see the back. And I think that this finished up pretty nicely like that. So let's see if I can get it back in. I cut my foam core to size specifically so it would fit in this cabinet. And as long as it doesn't fall out, it's good. I think we're good. Okay, so those are all of my finishes. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy with a lot of them. Okay, so let's talk about some whips moving forward. I got some more progress on, this was a start that I think Renee was the one that instigated. Renee, did you start this? Were you the one that said you wanted to stitch this one? But it's Krista, the Wildflower Stitcher, Laurel, I Am a Stitch Nerd, Heidi from Whips and Kits, and then I know some of you joined us, Red Manor Sampler by the Scarlet House. Renee just posted her finish. Now she did an abbreviated version. I think it goes like right about here. And she just posted her finish on Instagram. And she used the called for DMC colors. I'm showing you this because now you're going to see that I made a lot of color changes so far. This house, let me tell you, this house is no joke. I grabbed my, I have my flosses to show you what I've done so far, but I am almost there, almost. This is 40 Count Brea by Needle and Flax. And as I was stitching with my friend Audrey, Stitch Bead, I asked her, I said, Audrey, the urn, this flower pot is black. The windows are all black and all that. I don't want to stitch it in the black. And she had the idea of, well, what about pink? And I said, oh my gosh, brilliant. I love that. I'm going to make them pink. And so she didn't actually pick out the color of pink. If you don't like this color, it's a little pink purple. That was totally my choosing of the pink color, but I'm very happy with it. First I wasn't sure, but the more I look at it, the more sure I am. So there's going to be a pink door. Now the windows are, like I said, charted in black. I don't want black windows since I'm not putting black anywhere else. So I had the idea, and this is where my idea, let me show you this very quickly. This is where this idea came from. This is Margaret Campbell by Needle Made Designs. I love this house, and phew, someday I'm gonna get this one finished. But can you see how she charted satin stitches for the windows? I hope I'm showing that nice and closely. I'm thinking this is absolutely the most perfect solution ever for me. So I'm going to do satin stitches for my windows in, I'll come back. I changed it to an oatmeal scone silk, but I might come back with maybe just an ecru. I'm going to try some different things and see which color, but it's going to be a satin stitch and it might end up just being the oatmeal scone. But that's what's going to fill in the windows. And then when I was starting to try to do these flowers, which are charted the same dark color as the house, that wasn't working for me when I started to stitch. And I asked my friends Aimee and Diane, and I said, what do you guys think? And I said, could I do blue? Because I'm seeing blue. And they both said, yes, you can totally do blue. That's a great idea. So, oh my gosh, so many wonderful memories in this piece already with all the friends. So I'm switching my flowers to blue. Now I'm also only stitching a portion of this. Stay tuned for whatever it is I come up with because I'm not actually sure how that'll all play out. But let me tell you very quickly the colors. Now, mind you, flosses are not always going to be these dye lots, and so that can be a bit tricky. But I'm going to share with you what I used. So I used Bahama, and these are either Gloriana or Belle Soie silks. Bahama Breeze is my favorite baby blue. I really like, I need to get some more of this because anytime I have to do a baby blue, and I don't want it to look like an 80s blue, this is my go-to blue. I really, really like that one. Cinnabar, as well as I love Oatmeal Scone. Anytime I have to do this type of a white, off-white. Let's see. Rosebud. So this is a little bit of a purpley pink. I just went through my stash. I just, what do I have in my stash? Herb Garden. This can be tricky because Herb Garden, I have several different skeins of it and they're not all the same color. So just a caution there. Did I tell you? And Red Fox is for the mortar. And this also can be different colors. So that's why I just, like I said, I pulled from my stash. I wouldn't necessarily tell you that these colors will look like this if you were to buy them today. But I'm really having fun with that. And I'm happy. Oh, and the roof. Oh, did I not pull the roof color yet? I was going to do Chester's Blue, which is my favorite blue, especially for a roof. But I also had, and somehow that didn't get put on the skein. I had some gumnut stars. I had a dark blue, very similar to Chester's Blue in a gumnut stars. And I decided that would work. Excuse me for a moment. That would work really well for my roof. So in case I wanted to save my Chester's Blue, I didn't know how much I had. So that's working really well for the blue. Okay, so let's move on to the next WIP that I pulled out. This is actually one of the first things I worked on after we were together. An old, very old, one of my oldest WIPs, my Bird Song. And Sampler's Not Forgotten. Now you can see right up here is the other, I think it's called Joyful Song. Something with the word joy in it. And this is, I feel it's by the same designer. They're like companion pieces in my brain, even though I'm stitching them on different background colors. So this one is much more on a white, antique white, something along those lines. And this, I think, is a piece of Vintage Exemplar by Lakeside Linens. And that might have been the called for, and I actually happened to have a piece. And so that's what I used. I have debated about just stitching a portion of this, but then there was so many elements I didn't want to leave out that I just couldn't do it. And I just kept going. I did make the change to this flower originally has the green around it. I changed it to be all red. I don't mind the green. I'm not sure how I'm going to go forward. I'm not pulling this out, so I will incorporate as I go and decide. I believe I'm using all the called for overdyed flosses for this. I'm so glad I decided to keep going and stitch this border. The leaves are no joke. I remember my friend Trisha, she said the same thing. She said those leaves, she has a beautiful finish of this already. Now, if you are on Instagram, Trisha is Preb409. And one of the highlights from Sampler Symposium is actually Trisha's little, I was going to say, I wonder if I don't have a picture to show you. Was it your daughter or daughter-in-law, Trisha, that made you the bag? So there's a new needlework press coming out at market that was a retreat piece once upon a time. And it's like a star. Star is not the best word. Like, I don't know if it's a pinwheel, something in the quilting industry that you would know. And I don't even remember what it's called. I'm sorry. I'm doing a poor job of this. But Trisha had the piece. She stitched it. She gave it to, I believe it was her daughter, and her daughter fully finished it into the most adorable little bag, like a rectangle bag with a thin strap. It's fabulous. So if you are on Instagram, I'm pretty sure she has it highlighted there. You have to go check it out. I suggest that you go check it out. All right, so I will be carrying on with that, and it will still be a long way to go because the leaves do take me quite a bit of time to stitch each one of those leaves. But I'm really happy that I'm just really happy with how that's coming out. Okay, my token of love. So my friend Renee, Prairie Stitcher 515, she also celebrated a birthday earlier in the month. And this is not this particular chart, but she started a Quaker for her birthday. And I said, I have a Quaker chart that I've really loved and wanted to stitch. I will pull this out and stitch this with you for your birthday. I know others have also joined in stitching a Quaker to celebrate her birthday. So big question on this was, what color do I want to stitch it on? Because I saw the cover and I really liked it on this. I don't know what she stitched it on, but it's like a, you know, the lighter color background fabric, but a really dark, this is like that DMC, is it 221? Cream. Okay, so it's Zweigart Cashel 28 count cream is what she stitched it on. And it is DMC 221. Now that is a darker red. And my thought was, I won't be able to carry if I stitch, you know, a dark floss on a light colored linen. And I wanted to maybe think about pinking it up a little bit anyway. So I chose what I thought maybe was a medium, and that way I won't carry far. I really will only carry 2 stitches. Anything farther than that, especially with a dark floss on a light fabric, I really feel like you're gonna run the risk of seeing it. But because, you know, in a Quaker, a lot of times you have to come a little farther over to get these little stitches. And I didn't want to do pin, start, and stop for all of these little, I just wanted to make it as easy and enjoyable as a stitch as I could. Long way to say, I hope that this color is a good choice, because I don't think you're gonna, well, there's my back. I haven't really carried anything crazy that I can tell. So I think I'll be okay. I don't remember, what did I choose for the background fabric on this? Let me see, I have my book of days here just in case. I remember I started at the beginning of February. So let's see if I can find it really quickly. Yeah, oh, this is 40 count Scrimshaw by Cedar River Linen, and it's my first piece of Cedar River linen that I've stitched on. So, and I'm loving it. It's just a really lovely neutral, a lot lighter, very pretty. I'm really happy with these choices. And then I did, what color did I choose? This is DMC. Haha, I wrote it on here. Everything's right here. 3831 is the DMC color. I didn't want a variegated floss. I wanted, you know, I think the Quaker motifs shine nicely all by themselves. So I purposefully did not want a variegated floss. And I also don't really enjoy stitching with highly variegated flosses. So that was that's a good choice for me. I'm very happy with the colors, and I'm just stitching. I've really been enjoying it. I don't do a lot of Quakers. They're very exact. There's not a lot of room to fudge. So I've just been taking my time, and it's really been a very, very enjoyable stitch. Okay, so this has all the information right on the front of the bag for me. This is one that when it first was talked about by Katie Strachan, I was not going to take on another Muse Start. It's adorable, but I wasn't. Then I went to, I haven't talked about this retreat yet, but I went to a smaller retreat right after, it was in February, and it was back in Mesa, Arizona. This was hosted by Krista, Just Stitching Along, and there were 30 stitchers there, and it was, again, fantastic. I had the best time. I have some things to share from that retreat as well, but for a more comprehensive and thorough recap, go watch my friend Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot, because she really goes through all of the things that we got and everything that happened. I'm just going to show you a few of the charts and such, but I'm telling you this because Karen was also I saw her stitching on this at Sampler Symposium, but then I also saw her stitching on it at the other retreat that we went to. Was that February in Phoenix, I think was the name of that one. And she was stitching on this little girl, and I just thought, oh my gosh, that's it. So they had this at the attic available with the 3 pieces that you needed. So it's the chart, Pineberry Lane, which is Hannah and Emma Foster. And then it's the Swa Goblins. And the idea behind this was a sale that was meant to start at Sampler Symposium, hosted by Katie Strachan, Brenda, who is Brenda the Sampler Stitcher, and Laura, who is the Serial Starter. And they were all going to get a start, and I don't know how that all went. If everybody started, I don't think everybody started as planned. It was very busy. The retreat was very busy. But when I saw Karen stitching on it, and I just thought, oh my gosh, what a great memory piece that will be. Surely I have room for one more new start. So I bought all the pieces, all the parts and pieces. I've never stitched with Swa Goblin before. And it's on Legacy Linen, Irish Coffee, 38 count by Legacy Linen. Let me tell you, that is a perfect combination. The coverage is fantastic. I really like stitching with the Swa Goblins. I am not a huge fan of 100.3s. They tend to twist and knot up for me quite a bit. I have not stitched with them a lot, so I feel like I want to be a little reserved in my thoughts on stitching with them going forward. I want to stitch with them more before I really give you, perhaps there's something I can do differently to make it a little bit not quite as twisty and getting knotted up. But I didn't have any issues with the Swa Goblin, and the coverage, it's a thicker silk. And so the coverage on the 38 count is just fantastic. Can you see that? So this has been now I'm not, the one thing I'm not really a huge, it's not my favorite, is the Legacy Linen is thicker. And so while I think the finished product is beautiful, it's very, I was talking about this with Audrey again, she had mentioned it, it's very opaque. It's a nice sturdy fabric, and your sampler, when your finish is going to just really look crisp, and it's just a fabulous linen to stitch on in that way. But it's harder for me. I noticed that to push the needle through, it was a little more effort. And I really noticed it because when I had finished stitching all of this, and then I went to the next thing I'm going to share with you, which is on just a bee's knees seraphim linen 40 count, I noticed that my needle went through a lot easier for me, just for me personally, my experience. So I loved this. I love this finish. I will do this again. I don't know if I'm going to go crazy and get all the Swa Goblin colors and try. If somebody did a conversion, if Katie does another conversion and I love what she's stitching, I might totally do that and just let her do all the work, because it's a lot to make a conversion. And I loved her colors. So Karen Lynch was the one that inspired me to stitch this, and she's made some great progress. So go check her out on Instagram. And congratulations, Karen, she has a new grandbaby, her first grandbaby. So that's exciting. Okay, did I tell you everything about that one? I think so. So that's kind of a memory piece from, I got it at the Friends, the February, Phoenix in February, the Phoenix in February retreat. But I had seen it, and I knew that it had been started for Sampler Symposium. So that kind of is both for me. This is another one that actually spans both, because I saw, this is an exclusive right now, Mary Ann Buck by Needlework Press. It's an exclusive to Attic Needlework, and you can get it all as a kit. It's all kitted up there in several different options. I think there were 3 different options, maybe overdyes and Avera Swa 103s, and then the other overdyed in silks, gum nuts, belle soie. I think you had options in different fabric counts as well. 36, 40, 46. I can't remember what all they had. I have the 40 count overdyed, 40 count bee's knees by Seraphim with the overdyed cottons. And I saw this, of course I saw it first on their Flosstube and really loved it, this house. Then I saw it when I was at Sampler Symposium at the Attic, and every time I walked by, I just kept getting drawn to the house. I think it's a house, not a barn. And every time I'd walk by, it just kept catching my eye, but I just wasn't sure. And so I thought, well, I'll be back in a month. I'll think about it, and if it still keeps, if I still keep getting drawn to it, I'll get it when I come back. And I did. I got it when I went back for the second retreat, because it just kept, and Nanette, as I mentioned earlier, Hilo X Stitch, she has a wonderful, she's got quite a bit of it already done. And I think, Nanette, you're still only going to stitch, she only wants to stitch that top portion right there, which I think is fantastic. But I actually want to stitch the whole thing. I don't want to do the middle over one portion, but I think what I'm going to do is do 3 pots of flowers. Or I know there's already a basket of fruit down here. I might do the 2 and another larger basket of fruit. the idea was maybe you could take another cow. I have another design that I've already stitched that has a wonderful cow. You could put a bigger cow here. I can replace it with just over 2 scripture. Lots of ideas. I haven't gotten there yet, but I do love this bottom portion as well. Probably not the border. I think I can get away without stitching that border. So that is my thoughts on the middle portion there. Those are all of my thoughts on the middle portion there. We'll see what actually happens. But man, did I love stitching this when I pulled it out, and I just kept going. This is as far as I got before I put it away. So just love. I did the door. I wasn't sure. The door to me looked like there was a rim. I don't think you can tell. That's on the thing here. It looked like there's a piece of a strip of brown stitching all the way around the green door. I decided not to fuss. It's not charted that way. It's just charted for all the green, and I think it looks fantastic, so I'll just leave it like that. Oh gosh, this house, it's everything. This house is everything for me, and I tell you, this house is going to be done a lot faster than the other one, the first one I showed you. Okay. So is that, I think that's all the stitching that I have. So now we're just going to have some things that I purchased and some new charts and all kinds of fun stuff. We still have lots of fun stuff. Let me start here. So my friend Aimee, Mrs. Flossie, has a new release, New Day, New Start, inspired by Diane, the woodpecker's daughter. She has this series of words to live by. You can't finish if you don't start. Isn't that adorable? So you can get this now. That's already available for you. I picked up at the store that I have more local to me here. It's still about an hour away, but I picked this up at my store. Oh shoot. I don't want to get this wrong. Grand Central. I'm so sorry. The name is not in my head yet. Grand Central. Quilts and Stitching. I think that's what it is. I'm going to put it below. I'm really sorry. I really meant to get that the correct name, but I picked this up from my local LNS. I guess that's what LNS is, local needlework store. Clovis. I am a little more afraid of doing an animal cracker finish, so I will investigate alternatives because I'm a little bit gun shy now. This I got when I went to Sampler Symposium. Jessie Challenor and the woman that model stitched this colorway, Melissa, was there, and I had her and Nicola both sign my chart. I will be stitching this colorway. And I'm going to change the peaches, the orangey peaches, to pinks. I think this colorway would be more fun to stitch, these bright colors. But I'm more drawn to this looking, having this on my wall. So Jessie Challenor, that is available from the attic as well. I think that right now is just an exclusive to attic. Okay, this is the next color tutorial chart that I hope to get started. I think this is absolutely adorable. This is where you get her charts. You go to creativepoppy.com and you look up this designer, Miriam, and this is where you will get these charts, PDF downloads. So many. Another one, my friend Steph, Lake Girl Stitches. She has already got a start on this, and I meant to start this with her. So I really got to get MP Motif Sampler by From the Heart Needle Art. I love the colors. Again, look at this house. I really love the colors in this house. The blue and red houses. That really must be what appeals to me. Now this is going to be released coming out here at Market. Fanny Collins, this is the one I told you where Karen had done just the little bird as a pinwheel. And my friend Megan, who is it My M Westies, I believe, on Instagram. She's going to have a birthday start in April. I can't remember if it's April 4th, but it's in April. This is going to be her 70th birthday start. So I said, oh, absolutely. This was given to us at the retreat, so I already have it, but you can get this at Market coming up. The dog and the bunny down here at the bottom. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I will just stitch that portion there. So, and that was kitted up for us. We have the linen and the 100.3s, because that's what I stitched the little pinwheel. That was in the 100.3s. So that'll be a really good, because I'm going to use the 103s on that. My friend Janelle she's Vintage Threads and Samplers. She has a Flosstube and she has a freebie. So I'm going to hold this back here, but this is a freebie available through her. Vintage Threads and Samplers. Now, this is another one of those where even if you don't stitch this particular chart, it's another alphabet for you that you can use in other projects, which you know I do all the time. Like that's, you know, what I did with recharting. Louisa Barney. I should probably make sure you know what's on my walls very quickly. This is just, I got this at an antique store. It's just a, I don't know, tapestry some sort, and I put that in the frame. Entwined Hearts by the Scarlet House. This is a hats, the pear, the giant pear and the rose. I think that's how that one goes. Proof that I do stitch the entire chart, including the border. Let's see, this is from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, Eliza Brown. And then you've got Eddie and Patsy up here, the two parrots by Maximum Cross Stitch. Louisa Barney by Reflet de Soie, but I of course made changes to the middle. Right above me is my Quaint Rose Needle Arts. It's called Dutch Bird. Macy has some new market releases I'm excited about. This is GGR, Martha S. Scott, JBW Designs, Elegant Alphabet. Judy has some more things from market that I'm excited about. You can barely see, though. That's mostly what you can see that's around me. You know, you've got Blackbird Designs, Joyful, Joy. I can't remember what that one was called. Oh, phooey, everybody stitched it. All right, I'll have to let it go. There's also the freebie available on Instagram by my friend Aimee, Mrs. Flossie, and she did this chart. It's a freebie in memory of Jean. So go to her Instagram and you can blow it up there to stitch. That's a plan. I also ordered, there's some more charts, but let me, while I have this in front of me, I ordered some things from Penny and Tunny, and one of the things that she sent me when I ordered some project bags was, I think this was something she had as a design idea, and I think this is amazing. I will take this. I'm going to a retreat, a local retreat here in Anaheim. Live and Die LA is putting on a retreat in, like I said, in Anaheim, which is close to me. And I will be leaving to go to that on Thursday. And I think I will take this time as my little notions bag to put all my stitchy stuff in. We'll see. I have my boxes as well, my stitchy boxes. But this was very, isn't that cute? And the pink, she knows me. So thank you so much. I really enjoy that. I forgot to show it when she gave it to me. I've ordered several of bags from Penny and Tunny. I've ordered from her more than once. This was gifted to me by Mary at Sampler Symposium. Oh my gosh, Mary, it's just fantastic. I love it. It's beautiful. And this was, I have several project bags to share with you. Catherine Adrian, Stitching in Costume. Thank you. Thank you. Sarah Stitchy Spot. Oh my gosh. Special meaning, this fabric. Diane, the Woodpecker's Daughter. And my friend Steph. Oops, hold on. I caught most of them before they fell. All right, whew. Steph, Lake Girl Stitches. Oh my gosh, isn't this just perfect? Birds, pink. What have I got in here? I think I've already got something. Yeah, I've already got one of my stitches in there. I've done my best to get as organized as possible, and I finally had to just say I'm just going to go with what I have so far, and anything I have forgotten we will cover next time, because there's a lot everywhere. In that vein, though, I have to say I have been doing really well. It has been a journey for me, a couple of years now, where I've really been trying to get motivated to clear out some things, to go through my garage and go through the, you know, the cabinets in there and in my home. And I have put together lots of things that have gone to like the thrift store, Savers, Goodwill, whatever you have. But I have made piles, and then my husband has taken them to the thrift store. I've made another pile and I've gone to the thrift store, and I'm feeling so much better. It's taken me years to get here, years to be ready to let some of this stuff go. And so while in one area I'm feeling a lot better about some of the organization, anytime you come back from going to a retreat and you have a lot of things and you want to make a floss tube and you have a lot of things, or you get everything out to make all these finishes, there's a lot of things. So they're everywhere. And after this video, hopefully then I can start getting a little bit more organized. We shall see. I dropped one chart here I don't want to forget to share with you. I loved this. I saw this on the wall at the attic, and this is by Needlework Press, George and Hannah Ashmore. I think Laura, the serial starter, has actually finished this one. I know she shared it, but I think she actually has a finish, and I just love this. So, I don't know what it's all charted for, but I got to get this one kitted up, because that is one that I just really want to stitch that. I also really have been drawn to this one. It happens to be another Needlework Press, Martha Richardson. I just, something about maybe the blue and the red. And I will stitch the border on this because I think it's part of the charm, the whimsy. It says it's sampler recreated by Sandy Spencer of Whispered Stitches. Oh, so I wonder this is maybe by Whispered Stitches. It says it right up here. So I've been really wanting to get that under my needle here too. My friend Aimee, Mrs. Flossie, she has an adaptation of a antique sampler that is my friend Shelley. It's only stitching. It's her, is it it's in the family. And so Shelley allowed Aimee to recreate this antique sampler. She did a fantastic job. Seeing this in person at the attic stitched up, the colors, just amazing. And Aimee shares this on the video that we did together, the finish of it, fully framed and all of that. Okay, so this, let's see, I'm going to sort through a little bit. This was another chart I picked up from the attic when I was there. I really enjoy both of these. I know Audrey has stitched this one already, and I think she plans on stitching this one. Audrey Marine on Flosstube, stitch bead. And I've always loved her, watching her stitch it. And so when I saw this, I actually put this on my list to get while I was there. This is by 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers, which my understanding is the charts are going to start being carried by Evertote, Caroline at Evertote in Canada. I know Leanne is from Canada as well. So then I got some of these from, well, we got this one I purchased from the attic because when we went to the retreat that I said was hosted by Krista, I know that this is one I've always liked. And you will see again, if you go watch Sarah's Stitchy Spot, she shows her full finished stitch of this beautiful sampler. I think Carolyn from the attic, you've either started it or finished as well. And I always just love this little basket of flowers. I don't really enjoy stitching alphabets in general. I wouldn't have picked that just because of that. But at least they're all, I think there's only 2 colors. And at least I won't have to start and stop a lot. I think 1 strand of floss maybe will finish a letter. It's probably going to be 2, but they're close enough. Maybe I can carry. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think this looks like it's going to be. A lot of times those multicolor alphabets are a lot more like say, oh no, this is still all the same. It's easier for me if I have to stitch a lot of letters if they're all the same color, and I have more option to carry my thread. But at the retreat, Krista gave us a couple of her charts. This is one I love this basket of flowers, and I'd be tempted just to stitch this basket, but isn't this pretty? I mean, all these colors. I don't know. I think all these colors really make this as well. So Hannah Stevenson, 1852, by Just Stitching Along. I have my Lucy Calicut that I'm wanting to, that's another very large house that I'm wanting to stitch as well, probably before I start any of these. But she gave us all like a little goodie bag, and there were some of her, a mix of her charts. Everyone got 2, and this was the one I got as the second one. Yeah, lots of color changes on those, on the alphabets, which I love the look. I do not really enjoy stitching lots of color changes in alphabets. This was from Claudia. You can see that she had the 2, I don't know if they were sisters, the 2 samplers on the back. I'm not sure. I want to show this from a distance. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to share this, but she was stitching this at the retreat on white perforated paper, and it's really, really lovely. But this was something that she gave us at the retreat. So I'm not sure if that's available yet. Now will be. Let me show you a few things that I still want to get a start on. Oh, very quickly. Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada. She has some really good videos out. What do you call those things? Those videos that you put out that are specifically talking about techniques, Flossiversity, Floss University, something along those lines. I'm sorry, Erica. But Erica had mentioned that she saw my whip parade. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. She saw my whip parade, and she thought I had a finish of Beloved by Running with Needles and Scissors. And I said, nope, not yet. I'm not sure which one she saw, but here's where I'm at. And Erica purchased the chart, and so she's just going to stitch the birds. And I have mentioned before that I love the entire chart, and this is one that I am going to go through the border little by little and stitch all the alphabets, the whole thing. That is 40 count antique lace with the called for flosses. It's a mixture of DMC and Inker flosses. So I just wanted to show Erica where I was on that one. A couple of things I still plan on getting a start on. I got to meet Michelle, Mama Loves UGB, at Sampler Symposium, and this is, I got it, I even got the fabric is ready to go. It's just getting it, I think I even have all the flosses pulled. It's just getting a start on that. So that one's going to happen. My friend Merritt, Just Because Buzz, I think this would be, it might be a little small. I told her I thought this would be a great stitch to put on the top of one of my stitchy boxes, but because I don't like stitching with a higher count, which this is either 28 or 32 to make it this size, mine might end up being another little, like a little needle book or something along those lines, but I totally want to get a start on this. And I think I want to stitch it in 2 colors of pink, a darker pink and a lighter pink, all monochromatic. I'm not sure because the houses all have different colored roofs. It's really cute, but you can get this from my friend Merritt. Souvenir, here we go. Souvenir Stitches. It's the name of her store. And if you go watch her video, she has her finishes that she shares with you. This is going to happen soon. It's going to happen very soon. I just have to get it kitted up. I love this chart. I've loved it from the moment I saw it. Violets and Verses. And I'm just dying to get to these flowers, these little kitty cats. It's on Dirt Track by Fox and Rabbit, which I think I have a piece of that, but even if I don't, I have something that's tan, modeled in tan. Still debating on whether I want to convert this to pinks. I really think I do, and that's probably why it's not going to get started right away. Karen, the Stitching Owl, she has a beautiful finish. Chris, the Camping Stitcher, she has a wonderful finish. I saw this at Country Samplers and finished it on the wall. And of course, Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher, she has a wonderful finish. I've been meaning to get a start on this for the longest time as well. I'm only going to stitch like Jessica did, all grass. I'm not going to put any animals in the bottom. And then Anna, Stitch Roadies, she has a start. This was another one I wanted to do Valentine's this month, February. I was hoping to get a start on this. Now, Anna has done a shorter version of this. My friend Michelle, who's in my local stitchy group, she has also designed a smaller version of this, and I took inspiration from both of those ladies. I liked the ideas that they had to shorten it, which is obviously what I had always planned on doing, but I cannot quite decide the configuration. There's so many options. So Anna has is stitching this. You can watch on her channel. So I'm going to see her finish for now. And I dropped one, hold on. I have several of these little charts by Hands Across the Sea that I want to start, this just being one of them. There's the other one, Anne Rathnell, I think it is, the birds. And they're not very big. They won't be a very long stitch. It's, again, just getting it kitted up. But Alice Tippett, love this. So I have lots of things that are, and many more that I want to start. We'll see. Let's see what happens, right? I get all these ideas, as we all do. I don't really have any plans. I just know I have a lot of fun things. Market. Should I try to tell you my market choices? I did not make a list. I didn't write them down. Here's my plan for market. I did pre-order the Velvet to Linen by Cathy Barrick from the local store here, Grand Country, Grand Quilts. I am so sorry. Again, I have got to write it down. I pre-ordered that one from my store here. And then I have my gift card from Christmas that I specifically saved for market. So I have a list. There's some JBW. My friend Trelly, the Spanish stitcher, has some beautiful samplers. There is a Jeanette Douglas one that I really loved. It's probably not very helpful if I don't remember the names of any of them. That little hands-on design Ladybug, so cute. Yeah, that's not very helpful, is it? The Fox and Rabbit, the one with the pink house at the bottom and the big sampler. Yeah. Anyway, I have a whole handful, probably about 10. There's probably about 10 from market that I really have on my list. And I'm not in a big rush for any of them right away because, as I've just shared with you, I have a lot of these other ones that I think I want to get started on. And I'll just kind of go see how I feel as I go. I did get into Bristol in June, so I might even just save a lot of my list for when I go there in June. We'll see. But let me know what your favorite market release is. I will do a better job of actually writing mine down, all the names, and being more prepared. Like I said, there was a point where I just said, just go with what you have so far, and then we'll talk more about stuff in the next video. So, okay, that is all the stitching. My husband is going to share scripture, and as always, we hope that you will stay, but that is all the stitching. So thank you for joining me. I know that there are a lot of wonderful videos out there to watch. I am so far behind. I just have not been able to watch everyone that I have on my list, but I will, little by little, I will catch up. It's just, I thank everyone who takes the time to make these videos because it is, again, like my favorite form of entertainment. And thank you for coming to visit me. I love that you come and leave comments, and I just love the friendships, the community. It is a huge part of my life, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you. So enjoy what you're stitching. Let me know if we're stitching something in common, and take care, everyone. I will see you all soon.
Welcome back. Thank you again for sticking around and allowing me to share some scripture with you today. Today I wanted to read and talk a little bit about Psalm 23. So let me first just go ahead and read the passage. This is obviously a very well-known, probably the most well-known scriptures. Most of the people have heard it, whether you're a believer or not. But let me go ahead and share the scripture with you first. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The reason I wanted to share this scripture with you today, obviously, with everyone in the Flosstube community mourning the loss of our dear friend and sister Jean at the attic. And also, we've had some family members over this last year and friends who have had family pass away recently. And, this psalm is a psalm of comfort, obviously, especially to those who are believers. I love what the psalm says in the very first verse. It says, the Lord is my shepherd. And at the very end of the psalm, the very last verse says, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's not I may, not I hope, but David wrote saying that the Lord was his shepherd. And because of that, he knew where he was going to spend eternity in heaven. And that brings comfort to me. And again, our Lord Jesus Christ in the New Testament in John 10 says, I am the good shepherd. So, again, I just pray for those of you out there that are believers, that this will give you comfort and peace. And also for those of you that are out there that may not know the Lord, that this would draw you to him. I want, obviously my family members that don't know the Lord, I want them to know that they are going to heaven when they die because they can say the Lord is their shepherd. So anyways, God bless you all. I hope this psalm brings you all much comfort. God bless you all.